the Division I transition brings new leadership and renewed excitement. With veteran coach Steve Englehart at the helm and a roster filled with familiar faces and plenty of new talent, the Wolves are ready to take the next step. Welcome back to the United Athletic Football Conference kickoff, and we have head coach Steve Englehart here in his first year. We'll have TJ Lockley representing the offense and Chancellor Bryant representing the defense. And Coach, I'll start with you because you inherited a program that had a ton of success last year, but this isn't your first rodeo for head coaching stints, and you come to West Georgia. What excites you most about this program in Carrollton?
Well, first off, I just want to say congratulations to the UAC leadership and staff. I think this is a great event. It's a great event for us to be able to be involved with, and as a first-time head coach in the league, to have a chance to meet a lot of the great coaches in this league and great players. So we appreciate this event very much, and I think it's been great. So thank you for that. Obviously, 8-3 season last year at University of West Georgia, and there's a lot of high expectations, but we have a lot of work to do. Like everybody, I'm going to say a lot of the same things. We started in January, and we had to put together a roster, and 73 guys on last year's team are no longer part of this year's team. So we have close to 70 new faces on the team, but we have a lot of experience, coming back as well, or coming to us from other places. And these are two guys that, really committed to the University of West Georgia, and so glad that they were able to, stay here with us, and they're going to obviously add a lot of exciting moments to our program over this year, hopefully, and just excited, really, and really just looking forward to getting started. You go through these phases, and you start and you build a roster, and you go through recruiting, and then you have winter conditioning and spring practice, and now they're in summer, and we're ready for the next phase. And to me, the football will always take care of itself. It's really about building trust, respect, and love, on a team, and but you do that organically. It doesn't happen overnight, and you do that with great effort. You do that with discipline. You do that with perseverance and helping each other persevere through hard times. And if you do that, then you really create an organic culture that will take care of itself on Saturdays.
Coach, last season, actually in the UAC, we've been really lucky. This is the first time that we've had a coaching change since we started it. Joe Taylor goes to another spot. He was the coach of the year. You come in, you're the national coach of the year. But really, there's no place like in college football when there has been success and then a coach leaves, and it really becomes the Wild West because, like you said, 73 guys that you're changing out, you're bringing a whole new crew. It really is kind of the Wild West. How tough has that been, at least to start and come to that position and kind of grab the reins and straighten things out?
Well, I'm not going to pretend that I'm going through anything different than any other coach is right now, obviously. It's a situation where players sometimes have an opportunity to better themselves, and I'll never begrudge a player for that. Obviously, you want them to be a part of our program. When I got there in January, it wasn't really about how many players we lost or, how many were coming back. It was where are our gaps and what do we have to fill? And you go to work and you put together a staff that are going to be great recruiters, and you build relationships with families. And obviously in the transfer portal, that's the hard part, is doing it so quickly, right? The portal opened up on January 2nd. That was actually my very first staff meeting with everybody on the staff was January 2nd, and we had visits that night of bringing in transfers. So the ability to vet quickly and find out if they are going to be a good fit for your program. But ultimately, you have to believe in your culture and what you're going to provide for that young man, and know that they are going to conform and be a great team member and love and care for their teammates and go to battle with them every day. And I think that the culture does that over a period of time.
67 new faces on the roster. And TJ, I'll go to you because you're not one of the new faces. You were on the team last year. You played in 4 games before you were injured. But the year before that, you were top 10 in the UAC in receptions. How motivated are you to remind people how good you are and get back on the field?
Well, I'm more motivated than ever. And I want to thank God first for allowing me to be here again and continuing to play football with my teammates.
And why stay when you have a new head coach? What makes Carrollton the place to be?
Loyalty. I felt like I owed it to my guys from last season and Coach Englehart.
Chancellor, it's your second season at West Georgia, a transfer from Livingston. You had 25 tackles in 9 games last year. What about you? What made you want to stay, and what's it like, your relationship with the new coach to this point?
Yes, sir. So first, I would like to thank Coach Englehart and the rest of the coaching staff for giving me the opportunity to stay at West Georgia. I've known Coach E since high school, and ever since then, it's always been nothing but loyalty. Yeah.
So Kendra got a little nugget from you two last night, and it seems like every year we have one group that likes something different and special. And so I'm told that TJ, you're a singer, and Chancellor, you're a dancer. And when we asked TJ last night if he'd sing, he didn't say no immediately, and right before he didn't say no. So I'm just wondering, are we going to get some singing and dancing here today? What do you think?
Definitely some dancing.
There'll be some dancing?
I'll need more dancing than singing.
You're not going to sing? You want? So what kind of moves you got? You got like a pick six TD celebration? What you got?
I got a couple of moves.
All right, there's some space right up here. Now don't fall off this stage. Let's see what you got, man. This is Chancellor Bryant.
Vocals.
His UAC star debut. What you got, man? All right.
I like it. Okay.
All right.
Coach, you want to try?
All right. How about a round of applause?
You know, I have a bad back that I'm trying to nurse right now, so I'll have to save that for when I have some ibuprofen nearby.
Chancellor, that is awesome.
That was so good.
That takes a lot of courage, and you got some sweet moves for sure. I need to see that. I need a pick six now, and I need to see that during the season.
You got it.
You sure you ain't got no music for us?
I ain't got no music right now.
Okay.
Not today. Well, Coach, when you look at this program, and it's the final phase of the transition period from Division II to Division I, so you're not eligible for the playoffs, and obviously next year's on the mind of where you want to be, but how do you keep the players focused on the accomplishments that you need to have this year to continue to build for when you are eligible?
Well, I think it's easy to stay focused. You know, they're playing a game that they love, you know, regardless of end results or what may happen or may not happen at the end of the year. The only thing that we can do is play what's on our schedule. And, you know, the focus is on UT Chattanooga, our first game right now. And, you know, these guys get a great opportunity. I always say college football players are really the lucky ones. They have an unbelievable opportunity, and there's never a feeling like going out on a Saturday afternoon, you know, and playing in front of your home crowd with the band and the tailgate smoke in the background. And, you know, it's just a great opportunity for these young men. So I don't think that, you know, to look too far ahead of anything else other than, you know, caring about the team, caring about, you know, each other, and working as hard as you possibly can to have success on Saturdays, because there's never a better feeling that you're going to have. You know, I've done a lot of things in my life, but there's never a better feeling than the feeling that you have in a locker room on Saturday after a win. And that's what these guys are playing for. They're playing for each other. And, you know, let the rest take care of itself. And when we're eligible, and we'll deal with that at that point.
I think one of the things you have to be excited about this season is a guy that you bring over, Colin Hurst, the quarterback. He's a Walter Payton preseason watch list guy. Talk a little bit about what it means to have a quarterback that you know something about coming into this season.
Well, there were a few guys that came over with us from Presbyterian, and I think that, you know, they're great assets to the program, and, you know, great culture guys, great locker room guys. And, you know, one thing about, you know, I'll really talk about, we have 3 quarterbacks that have all had playing experience in college. You know, you have Colin Hurst, who, you know, won 10 games last year as a starter, won 6 games the year before as a starter, so has won 16 games in 2 years. You know, really fast processor of the game. You know, that's, I think when you look at quarterbacks, you got to look at processing ability and how fast they can make decisions, and then accuracy, right? I mean, those are the things. And all the other intangibles are great. If somebody can escape the pocket and, you know, be a Lamar Jackson and get down the field and all those things. But those are the first 2 things that you got to have. And the other 2 guys that we have, one guy that was here on the team last year, played in a few games last year, started in a few games last year, is Colton Fitzgerald, who had a really good spring. Once again, we see a lot of the same things in him. I think he processes, really fast. And then Luke Marble, who came over from South Dakota, or South Dakota State, and played in several of their games for them last year. So, I mean, we really, I think that's a position that we feel really good about the experience that we have in that position. And, I'll say that we don't feel great about every single position in regards to experience, but that is one, and obviously that's the guy that's pulling the trigger. So, it's going to be a great battle, but really feel good about all three of those guys' process.
Chancellor, we got about 15 seconds left, so I'll have you take a look at the schedule. You guys are playing your first ever FBS opponent. What does it mean for you to have that opportunity on the schedule?
It feels great. Obviously, it's not just me. It's the whole UWG athletics, specifically football. We're going to go 1-0 each and every week. The coaches have prepared us very well for spring and also going into fall camp. So we're ready to play.
Hey, West Georgia looking to dance their way to a win. Week 1 against Chattanooga. That is August 27th. And then the UAC opener, October 10th at Eastern Kentucky. West Georgia, thank you guys so much. When we come back,